Thank you all for in the future joining this little stream. I will be by myself today, but I wanted to dive into more FlutterFlow stuff. Uh, I'll be going over. We've been sort of adapting this glucose tracker app. Uh, it's a simple app. It's basically an app that you could turn into anything. You could turn into any tracking thing. User can basically keep track of daily logs of food, daily logs of workouts, daily logs of whatever you would have them do. And then you are able to view it as a web app or a mobile app. So as you can see, we have this mobile app here, and then I think maybe I have a Chrome here as well. Yes, I do, which I'll share my screen so you guys can see. It is nice when I have somebody to help me. Ruben, thanks for joining, dude. So yeah, we have our Chrome, we have our mobile app, right? And both of these are connected, both the same project. So I'm going to sign in as somebody else actually, so I can try to view a few things, because what I want to do today is I want to showcase how you can basically keep track of user data, right? You can view that stuff in the admin panel. So maybe on your mobile app, right? It's your app. So it's for consumers, it's for your clients, it's for your customers, whatever. They each have their own app, right? And they enter information for themselves. They're not entering information for other people, right? They're just basically communicating with their doctor or with their healthcare um, provider. So in the web app, right, in the web app portion, it'll be like the doctor or the healthcare provider reviewing daily logs by their clients. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build out a patient list, right? It's just going to be a user list. I don't want to get, like, hey, you need to have all this stuff secure in the back end. Please do that. We're not going to touch on that. I'm not a backend developer, but we will touch on how to set up the UI and how to set up the user experience and the data structuring for doing this. So how do you get daily logs per person? How do you view that in a modal or in some sort of UI that makes sense? And how can you do that quickly? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to sign up here. I think I have to go through this process again, which is fine. But all right, sick. So I don't have any daily logs because I'm a new person. So I will create a new daily log, and this is what we did 2 weeks ago. Let's see, I was fasting. I had no food, but had a delicious coffee. Let's say my glucose level was like 90. Select the time of the meal. This morning, I'll say, well, I guess I'll just do current time because that's when it is 6. So now I have my first log. And what I want to do is, let's say I'm the doctor, I want to come over here and view a list of patients, a list of users in the app, and then be able to click into each one of them and see a side modal of their data. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Let's dive into mostly like user experience, UI. How do you make things beautiful? I think that's why most of you join. You don't join for some of you join for the functionality and learning how to build. But I think it's super important to understand and learn that beauty and design is all about spacing, hierarchy, and layout. Okay. Spacing, hierarchy, and layout. We're going to build a UI that is functional, that displays the information needed. So here I'm going to do a list, right? A list of patients. We're going to have their last log information and then maybe their status as a patient. So maybe they're an active patient, they're paying us. Maybe they're an inactive patient, they're not paying us. They're not on a pro plan, something like that. You could also like maybe query their latest log information and put it here. So you could, so you can see that. What we're going to do is we're going to query a list of, I think I have a list view here. Yes, I do. I'm going to expand that if possible. Well, let's get to the place where we can expand it. So we have this non-expanded. this definitely expanded. So let's go ahead and put on here. We'll do, I don't know if we need this actually, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't think we do need this. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and that. And what I like to do is try to name this. So this top column will be wrapper. Okay, Joseph, thanks for joining. Kareem, good to see you guys. Alcat, we are making a web application on panel for our glucose tracking app, but this will be beneficial for anybody because it's going to be a list of users, and then it's going to be a details view of users. So you're going to be able to click on this list view and get a details view of that user, passing data, right? User data, but also log information and filtering that. If Alley Cat is the Alley who codes or who knows, this will probably be beneficial to you because I think you're running into some problems with filtering. Um, there's like little basic things that are really nice. I'm working on a very large application right now, three of them actually, but querying information is quite difficult. So, all right, we have our patient ID, right, and we have our user information here. So let's go ahead and grab our query. We're going to query our users here. Query collection. We'll do users. We're going to do a list of documents. We're not going to do yours. We're going to order by last active time. And we'll do decreasing, which means the most active ones are at the top. And then we'll just do that. And we will confirm that. Beautiful. And then we can sort of start putting our information in here. So we'll put our UID here. And really, you don't want, well, yeah, we'll do that. So 12 and 12. We'll put our information in here. So photo URL, I'm going to cache that 300, and I'm going to do show image fail. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys can just see the video. Awesome. Yeah, you could use the data table for this. Data table is beneficial for some things and not beneficial for other things. So utilizing building out a table is actually somewhat easier. So there are some pagination benefits to the data table, so you guys know. We're going to utilize default variables here as well, just so that we don't have gray screens. If you guys ever have a gray value or something, it's because you have not set a default value and you're getting a null value. So you don't always know where the null value is coming from, but it's an idea. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do last active time, date time format, and Jan 30th, 2023. I think this September 5th, 2024 will work. So let's do that. And then do we have a status? Do we have a status? We don't have a status of a user. So we'll just, we'll maybe say role. And then I'm going to adjust this little guy. I'm going to do a border radius of blue and accent 2 and change the, border of 2. And I'll change the border radius to 12. And then we'll just make sure that we have a default value here because I don't know if that's set. Okay. So this edit button will actually change to a, well, we don't even need it actually, because we're just going to click this row. We're going to tap this entire row and open this side modal. So let's go ahead and refresh that data. And we probably need to, let's see. All right, we have everything deployed. Nice. Cool. So we have that. Does that affect app performance? Yes, 100%. Kareem, good question. So you had seen me, I sort of did this silently. Essentially, a shrink wrapped list view does not display the information or the data very well. So what you want to do is, as much as you can, whenever you have a large, right, maybe we'll have 200, 300 patients here. What we'll want to do is we'll want to make sure that that list view is expanded and primary is on, which will allow us to scroll this list if we have more than 200 or more than I think 12 or 13 users here. Um, this is what we want to scroll. We want to scroll the list view. This will be the most performant. Uh, yeah, this will be the most performant widget to use. So you don't want shrink wrap. You don't want an unexpanded list view. Sometimes they're so much nicer, from a user experience standpoint, when you want more things to scroll. But this is the way to go. Whenever you have a list view with large amounts of data, expand that thing and do primary so you can scroll that. So, okay, let's go to our Chrome here. Nice. Okay, so we have this and we have our users. Like I said, I think we may need to deploy our rules without knowing it. Users collection is readable to everyone. That's what we need to do. Perfecta, because we are accessing user data. So we want to make sure that we can see that data. And I think there it is. Nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this ID off. And maybe I have, do I have exclude from list? Let's see. I don't think so. Exclude current user. No. Oh, I don't have an active time. That's why I need to set an active time for my current user, which doesn't have an avatar or anything. So let's see. This is me. Oh, I need to do that on the mobile. I need to adjust that to be my avatar. Okay. Let's go ahead. And now what we want to do is, sorry, we want to be able to click this and get a side modal with the user data. So this user is a patient, right? And um, they have logs. They have a bunch of logs, and so we want to see their logs. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then I want to make sure. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm just going to set my other user's last active time so he appears. But let's go ahead and start building out that UI. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out that UI. I'm going to do a component. And let's see. Do we have user? I have like a user. Some start with maybe a modal. I wish I would have done this before I left FlutterFlow. We need something that's like just a basic modal that has certain information. So I'm going to use this one, and we'll just start. Use modal user details. This is a view for desktop that allows a doctor, healthcare provider to view patient information. Okay, cool. So we have some stuff here. We'll remove this blur because that'll affect performance as well. We'll remove that and we'll remove this column. All right, sick. Now what we can do is, the reason why I remove that column is because we can just set the inner column to this card at minimum, unexpand that card, which is cool. All right, let's go ahead and do this. And what I want to do is, for this card, instead of center align, I want to right align. And then I'm going to, we will set it to the top. We'll set it to the far right, and we'll set the border radius on the far right to 0. We'll make the height infinity. So that's good. This inner, oh, there's a lot of padding here. Probably unnecessary. So we're going to change that to like 4. And then we can update this primary accent color here. Primary color on the border for the avatar. Just give it a little bit of color here. This icon will probably want to move to the far right actually, and it'll be a back icon. Let's go ahead and set some item spacing here, 12. Back. Okay, perfect. Perfect. And maybe what we want to do is we want to like move that up actually. Sorry, I'm gonna I don't like it when my avatar is that far gone. So we're going to align that. Let's go ahead and do some padding here so that that button is right there. Nice. We'll remove this padding from up top. And again, like I said, hierarchy, spacing, and layout. I think that's what I said. Color as well is really good. We can remove this stuff because this will be just our, a unique user, right? It's not going to be our user information. It's going to be a unique user uh, from that list of users. So I'm going to adjust some padding here again. We'll do 12 on the left. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to pass information into this dialog. This is going to be a custom dialog. So we want to pass information. So let's make sure that we have a user doc. Two different ways to do this. You can do a doc reference, and then you can basically query the user information here, or you can do a document. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be passing that entire document here. So it's not going to be live updates, but it won't cost us to read in the database. So good things to know. Okay. So we have that user document we're passing. What we can do is instead of the authenticated user, we will grab the user photo here, photo URL, boom, and we will just show error image on failure. We'll do the same for the name up here. We're going to do user display name and patient name. Okay, cool. And this will be talk user events, role. I don't even know if we need that. So we'll just do role. Oh, we can do a combined text. We'll do role plus email. So I'm just going to copy this over, paste, and roll. Now, the important things here are that you can do the right amount of information, right? Typically in these types of settings, you want to view a specific user information. So contact info, display name, photo, you want all of that good stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. I've reset my Chrome. And what I want to do now is let's set up the uh, viewing of that custom dialog. So you click on the container, which this is another thing you can't really do in a data table, right? In a data table, you don't have access to the entire row. You have access to cells within the row. So you would have to like set up a container or an icon that you would have to view, right? You'd have to set up an action on. You can't set it up on the whole row. What I want to do is set it up on the whole row. So we're going to do custom dialog, modal user details. We're going to pass that user doc right here. So that's going to be specific to the user. And then our barrier color, we want it to be accent 4, which is just going to be a overlay of our background at 70%. So that's great. And I want to view my Safari. Let's see if it'll give us this user information. Come on, buddy. No, I knew it was going to do that. Okay. I need to do something else probably, but let's go ahead and we'll do the list view last active time. We'll just do created time for now so we can see 2 users. Um, okay. So here it is. Nice, not bad. Right. That's step 1. 20 minutes in, step 1. All right, cool. Yeah, now see we have a bunch of users and we're getting the user details here. Okay? So this is pretty drastic. So what we can do is so it's not so weird, right? I feel like this is weird. Let's go ahead and add an animation on that user details. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to add a little animation on page load. We're going to fade in. We'll make it 400. And we're going to slide. All right, our horizontal slide, so maybe 50. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's do 150. Make it really slide. Cool. All right, that's what we're going to do. And it's on page load. So it's actually going to, when we access that dialog, it's going to slide right in. So we're going to wait for this to update. These images should update, and then we will dive right in. Okay, cool. Cool. Right, so we are, oh, I need to adjust that. So maybe we won't do email address for now, because of people that have logged in. So yeah, let's see. Um, create a time, phone number, short description. That's what we'll do. We'll just do a short description here. If no short description, we'll showcase a dummy email. So, all right, but yeah, that is this is giving us unique information, right? That's it right now. So let's go ahead and add some additional functionality. So this is great. We want to actually showcase the logs for this patient. So here are my daily logs. Personally, we don't even get the ability to view them. So we probably want to view them at some point. But let's go ahead and do the same thing here. And we're going to just change the filter. So go to daily logs. And let's see, we'll just copy this whole column for now. We're not going to keep the whole column. Yeah, we're not going to keep the whole column, but let's just copy it over. And let's say log history, oop, right there. And we'll just paste it in. What's happening is there's a bunch of expanded stuff, so we're not able to copy and paste in there. Not a huge deal. What we will do is we will make sure that this container, which has our logs query on it, we'll give it a height of 800. And then we should be able to do that. The stack is expanded there. That's great. Okay, nice. Cool. So there you go. Our data is still going to be filtered to us, though, and that's not what we want. We also want this little header here. So let's go ahead and do our table header, and we'll bring that over to our user. Let's see. Okay. Row, column, logs query, table header. Nice. Okay. Oh, okay. That's sorry, it's the responsiveness is on. So this is going to be, let's go ahead and make this card slightly larger, right? We have a max width of 700 now, so let's go ahead and do 900. Just give our table a little bit more room. And let's go ahead and change this, or let's first expand this, right, all the way down. And then we can expand, then we can make that list view primary, which is going to provide us with the best performance. And then on this, I'm going to just remove this extra padding on the column so that our list view goes all the way up to the right and all the way to the bottom, which will provide a very good user experience. And then we can reduce the spacing to 32 here. Okay. Now, all we need to do on this is we need to change the query of this daily logs. The filter needs to be different. The filter, instead of user equal to authenticated user, the user needs to be equal to the component parameter, user reference here. Perfect. Awesome. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get a user specific log details. This is going to be cool. I'm gonna go. Let's see, avatar, border, image, nice. Sorry, I'm gonna just yeah, that was bothering me. This is our mobile screen. This is our desktop. Go ahead and do that. And now we have our daily logs per user, which is sick. I think this is, I have one of my latest ones. Um, oh, Randy P. Yeah, this one, Andrew Daniels. Yeah, here you go. This is mine. And let's see if what we need to do is we need to set up I need to come over here to my profile. I can edit my profile from the mobile screen. So I'm going to log out and then log back in here. Okay. Let's see. I think you need to select the browser you're authenticated from to access the data manager. Okay. So here we can edit our profile. We'll update this little guy. I have coffees and people. So we'll go here. Nice. And then we'll select our role as a manager. I really love logging. Okay. So, uh-oh, my image wasn't uploaded. Oh, okay. I was giving it access, the first one. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, there it is. So now I have an avatar and a bio, which is great. Um, if we, I think what we've done is also update this. So photo URL 44, and we'll do the same over here in our nav item. So we will do our authenticated user, and these are just little things that you can do to improve. So let's do that. Authenticated user, display name. Perfect. Super easy fixes. Okay, we can log some more so that we can see a few more. Say breakfast, eggs and sausage. Let's say our thing was 110, and we'll do that. I'm gonna have breakfast in about an hour, so do that, and we'll post. Nice. Okay, so that's high. Perfect. And let's go to our Chrome here. Nice. We have our really loving this, right? Ability, and then we have our new log, and we have this log. Very nice. Do here is see how this is jumping around. What we'll do is we'll just make it a single time query. So it's being a little buggy right now on hover. So let's go ahead and just come over here, and we'll make that a single time query. And we could do infinite scroll as well, and that should just improve that user experience quite a bit. So, all right, so part of this, right, is building beautiful UIs, which, oh no, ran into some bugs there. Gotta love it. Probably because I did a single time query and a infinite scroll at the same time. So we'll try this first, and we'll just try to rebuild that. But balance, okay? Balance is key. Hierarchy, color, all of these things are going to improve your user experience. So, as you can see here, let's break it down. We're using white for most things, right? Our entire background is white. We're allowing color to accent, right? To accent our design. not to overcome our design. We're not utilizing green as the background here. We're not utilizing solid colors for our status or our selected navigation item. We're using opacitated versions of color. Okay. Same thing with our um, details, right? Again, very simple. This is this can be taken for any SaaS product, okay? This design system setup. All right. And by that I mean any application that you're focusing on information, right? We're not talking about consumer applications where you're trying to sell something, like Airbnb, right? Trying to sell something, you're trying to display something, even like Mercado or what are the other sales ones? Snagit, Poshmark, things like that, where you're trying to sell something, right? You have a lot of it's very image heavy, it's very user experience heavy. Those are consumer based applications where you're trying to do something. Um, but for a majority of applications that we build at Leo, we're building business applications where the user, it, consumers use it, but we're selling or we're building it for a business owner that has a niche market. Of course, doing sign in here, and I need to do sign up. Okay, cool, awesome. We have that, and we have our user specific information, which is sick. Um, so yeah, this is good. We want that updated log information here. Don't get too heavy or don't get too carried away with crazy colors though. And then utilize your typography correctly. Okay. We are utilizing spacing and hierarchy. This is how we present information. I've seen so many. Uh, sorry. You can 100% tell a junior designer from a senior designer or a junior designer from somebody that knows what they're doing based off of the spacing and alignment of their typography. So you want to improve your designs, make sure that things are aligned correctly. So here we have day logs, we have patients, and we have activity, and the headers should all be at the same place. This daily logs and patients are not. So we'll need to adjust that. We need to see what we're doing here. I think this is 24. And on the daily logs, I bet you we're at 20. So we'll just update that to 24. But this should be the same, right? As you cycle through these, and we'll do that in the actual design here, right? As you cycle through these things, this should stay the same. Okay. Content on the page should stay the same. So that and just utilizing a proper text style here and text style here that isn't too small. We're not using 12-point font here, and we're not using 45-point font here. Okay. I think this is 28. Let's see. This is yeah, 24, and this should be 14. So hierarchy of information. You want to know what page you're on, right? Same thing with patients, right? You can utilize some bolder font, some larger font for the patient name, and then utilize a more a smaller font or less focused font for some of the other information. So yeah, we have last activity time, and we have about 25 minutes. So another thing we'll do, we have the majority, and for those of you just joining, what we've worked on is creating a unique, or yeah, creating a patient list here, and then being able to click into this patient list and get information pertaining to the user. So in this case, we were filtering log information for the user. And we did all of that based off of a single user document parameter on this guy. And then we're doing a query on information relating to their logs. So we're just filtering that. Super easy stuff. Um, but let's go ahead and do the last log information. So whenever you are working with a NoSQL database like Firebase, right? You have this ability to sort of match things based off of um, information pertaining to user references or document references. So in the logs information, we have a user reference. That's how we're getting those logs specific to the user. Okay. And what we can do is in this list view, I have like last log information, but this is just the last activity time from the user document. It's not actually the last log information. And what I would like to do is showcase this last log information, like the time taken and maybe the status of it. Okay. I have to display it here. So I have a snapshot of the user information, right? Or the patient's levels. Okay. We already have like their user information here. We could probably remove this ID. We don't need it right now. And we want a little more space for this log. So how we're going to do this is we're going to get a container here. I'm going to drag that in. And we're going to see what this is flex 2. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do flex 2. And we're going to give it a little bit of padding and reduce the height here. And we'll give this a border. You don't have to give this a border, but I want to know what I'm working with, what constraints I'm working with, right? And it looks like this user information is really long. So I'm going to change that to like 3 or maybe even 2. And that way we get a little more information for the log here. Okay, now let's go ahead and display or grab the log information for this. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to load an additional document here. So it's going to cost you a read, no big deal. It will, and this will affect your performance, but it's not going to affect your performance like crazy. So we're going to do daily logs. We're going to do a single document. We can hide if no document exists. I think that's okay. And we're going to filter. We're going to say user equal to user document, which is the user document that we're getting in this list view. Okay, perfect. And we just want a single document. We don't want a list of documents. So we're loading one single document here. Okay. And now we can grab, I think we have a component actually for that log. So we do have a component for that log. We probably want to make a small one. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. And I'm going to say daily log small. Okay. And I don't want the description. I do want this. So I'm going to bring this over. Come on now. Don't you hate that? You accidentally move something and remove it. Okay, we'll just do meal type. I'm going to do this. Move this into that column. Perfect. Okay. So all we have here is a row. Let's see. I'm going to do that and that. I'm going to remove that. And this is infinity, so I'm just going to remove that height. And that'll take on that. Okay, and so we can remove this. This is the daily log small. Perfect. Okay, that's all the information I need. I am going to make this a little smaller. So medium, and then this is going to be label small. And then I think we have a height on here and we don't need that height. So, or we have some padding on here that we don't need. Okay, that's it. So we don't need this much padding. Let's go ahead and do 8 pixels padding. Perfect. Okay. And we're still getting some padding from somewhere. So we don't need that column. That's why. Perfect. Okay. Oh, let's go ahead and copy that. This is the column we don't need. Remove. Tick. All right. And we can just paste that on the row now. Okay. Now what that allows us to do is we can search for that daily log, small, we'll just throw it in here. Perfect. And we have a query on the container here. Okay. We have a query on the container. And so what we can do, and I'm just going to reset that, remove my border, yeah, don't need that. So we'll add some padding here. What we can do is we can just pass that daily log information into it. Sweet. So that's going to just pass in, we're querying something and we're passing in the first document. Okay. The very first document. So on this container, actually on the query, we probably want to filter or order by, right? Because we have multiple logs. So we want to order by their mealtime decreasing. Okay. So that'll give us our latest one. And then we can do, I'll do like 3 on this. Same thing on this little guy. I'll do like 3. And sorry, guys, if you are commenting and I'm not able to see you, but I'll try to get to it. Okay. Pagination for that custom table list in case we have a lot of data. Z, great question. So there is so many frustrating ways that question has led me to so many couple notes. All right, nice. So we have our lunch and our breakfast. Very great. It's way too big. We do not need it that big. So we can adjust that. But Z, there is no way to paginate data in FlutterFlow. Now, let me preface that. There is a data table that will paginate data. What it does not do is it does not query just the views that are in your page. So like a data table, you can set like 20 documents, right? What you're going to do is you're going to set a collection query for all logs, right? You're going to set a collection query for all logs on a container on the data table. Then you're going to feed that information into the data table. So really all you're doing is you're loading all the documents from that query, and then you're just displaying, right? And that pagination is just handling the display of 10, 20, 30 of those documents. You're still receiving all of the documents. So the way that the only way that FlutterFlow handles this in reality is easily out of the box is infinite scroll. So just showing infinite scroll on this user's collection is probably the best way to only load the data that you see within the view. So that's a little caveat. I've asked. I wish that there was an easier way for pagination to happen because I agree with you. I think it should be easier. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do 2 again because I don't like that how hard it is. Perf. And we can even adjust the information we show in here if we wanted to. Like this padding, I don't think we need this padding. I don't know why this is so big. This column and this row. Like surely, oh, minimum height. That's what we have. Unbelievable. That's why we have that weird height here. So we're gonna remove that and adjust. That looks good. That's gonna look a lot better. And then we can also just adjust this spacing. We'll do like 16 pixel spacing in between. Nice. So we have our last log here, user information. Click into here. This should be our last log, lunch, 11:50. Yep. Oh, this was another thing I wanted to do because if you guys noticed when we first set up this daily log, right, on mobile. So if you can see here, we have these daily logs, and it's sort of top, like this is the best day. So if I actually like created a log, um, fasting, really awesome. But I created it for yesterday, right? Um, it would appear down here, which is great. That's what I want. But for um, the inner list, right? Because we're feeding this data, the way we set this up and I'll do it on this desktop app. So the way we set this up is we're querying our logs on the container, right? User reference, mealtime, decreasing. Okay. But then we have a column here with the children, right? This list view is sorting unique daily logs, unique items. So the meal time, and then we're showing Thursday, September 5th. That's how we're getting this date right here. And that's how we're sorting by days on the daily logs, right? Just like this. But the time here, for some reason, is also decreasing, or I don't know what it is. It's increasing, I guess, because the earliest one is appearing here, and I don't want that to happen. I actually want it to reverse. So what I was thinking was, um, we could let's see. We're doing this. We're filtering those items, and we could actually also sort them here, and we'll do a log item mealtime. Oh, come on now. That's my unique key. Item index. No, come on, dude. I want to sort these guys. Let's see. Item and list. Get document property. Mealtime. Yes. Ascending, descending. Okay. This should work. Perfect. I hope. Let's see. Let's see if it'll work. But what I would like to do is obviously, like, I want my earlier times to be posted um, lower for some reason. That's what I want. That's what I see, right? I'm going to post throughout the day. So I want my top posts to appear up top. Okay, so this is wrong still, but that's okay. What we'll do is we have this reversed. And so maybe we'll just unreverse it, and that should update it to be how we want, maybe, possibly. So good questions. Um, Okay, so we've talked about UI. We've talked about responsive building. We haven't talked about responsive building actually this course. Um, Perfect. This is it. This is exactly what we wanted. Sick. So we had our fasting, then we had our breakfast. Same thing if we did, our, let's say we had our lunch here, blah, blah, blah. And we had it yesterday at 11 a.m., 48 a.m. Perfect. Okay, sweet. Our lunch is higher. That is how I want it for some reason. But that's what I want. I want like the dates to go down, but I want my times to go up. So breakfast, lunch, you know, fasting, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I want dinner to be at the top. So that's how you do that. But yeah, we've talked about this patience. So let's see what we can do here to make this a little more responsive, right? Because you can't just make a list view go like that. So how do we do that? I think it's going to be based off of, and what we'll do the same thing that we did for our daily logs. So we will actually create this as a component. We'll call this user list. Okay, we're going to have to do some rework, sadly, but we'll say user list. Perfect. And this is going to just dive deep into that. Boom. Perfect. We can just change these, need all of this stuff. All we need is this document, which is the user, and we'll just adjust everything from there. User doc. Perfect. We'll make it required. Okay. This will be a lot easier to handle as far as responsiveness goes. We're not going to handle that in the list view itself. So we'll do that. And we'll adjust these. Display name, patient. Same thing here. We'll do our, I think we did short description. Really awesome patient. Okay. And then this daily logs, what we'll do is we need to still make sure that our query is proper. So our filter needs to change. User doc, reference here. Perfect. Okay, and then same thing, we're just going to update this to our title. I think we have this as our title. Okay, cool. Now, let's go ahead and adjust some of this information. So this is our last log. So last log, and we can adjust that to, we're going to copy that actually, copy, and we're going to throw in this, well, let's see, we have our row here and we have another row. We can keep everything in the same card, or we can totally adjust the card itself. I'm going to just keep everything in the same card for now, because all we want to do is take this last log and throw it at the very bottom. And what we're going to do is that last log is, we'll infinity it and update it to 16, 16, or let's do like 12, 12, 12. That's going to be perfect. Cool. Let's see. We have this. We have width infinity, but we have it expanded. We don't need it expanded. There you go. We don't need it expanded. We just want it there. And we're going to hide this on desktop. Okay. We're going to do the same here. We're going to do last log. So this is going to be last log desktop. And this one will be last log mobile. Cool. And we're going to hide this one on mobile. So as we go down, right, same thing here. We probably want to adjust this to like, we'll hide this on mobile as well. We don't need that anymore. And I want to, oof, come on now. Oh, let's do our row, our status on the far right. Cool. So that'll provide us with some good information right there. And this guy, yes. Our daily log, that's right. So this is already, what's happening is we had this responsive in the daily logs component. And now since we adjusted it, we don't want it to be responsive. So there you go. Cool. So this is what it's going to look like on mobile. Well, this is what it's going to look like on mobile. And then this is what it's going to look like on desktop. Not bad. Okay. We're redisplaying information. We're updating hierarchy. These are all good things. So let's go ahead and update that. We don't have a patients list on mobile yet. What I can do is we could like update this, but currently this is just for the patients, or just the patient like view for themselves, not for anybody else. So let's go ahead and make this. There you go. Sweet. Nice. All right, so there's that. And you have your user information. We can remove the last log header from this. We'll just hide that on those. And then here we will adjust as well, I think. There's like center line, right align. I think on this guy we are also, yes, cool. All right. So that is how you would build this table to be responsive, right? You just based off a component level, not off a list level, which will help you in the long run. So that's great. You probably want some navigation on these guys as well. And so what I would suggest is, since we are utilizing the same project both our patients, which this is the only view the patient has is this daily logs view and their profile, right? And then the ability to edit profile, create logs, etc. Um, we can implement a mobile navigation for the admin. Okay, so the admin it will be directed to this daily logs page, which is different than our mobile home screen. Right, this is our mobile home screen. Notifications profile, and then this is our um, doctor or healthcare provider screens. So they have our main navigation, patients, activity, notifications, which is cool. Okay. So we have about 5 more minutes. And let's see. Any other questions that you guys want me to cover? I feel like this. I want to just take this. I have this on almost every single one of my web applications. A filtered user view. So I build out just a robust user view with like profile information, um, and then just keep that. So, but lunch, breakfast. Hi, this is looking good. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and build out a mobile nav. So to begin with, what we need to do is we're hiding this side nav when we go small, right? We're hiding that. And then we have a content area here that is just a big max width container. Really, it's just a container. And we have this column with all of the content. So what we want to do is we want to make sure our probably throw this in another. So this is providing padding to our content here. What we want to do is want to throw another column around that. So I did Command B. We'll say this one is column wrapper. And what we can do is we can add our custom nav bar to this area, to our column wrapper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a component for this. And this is how I create custom mobile nav. We only have like 3 minutes, so always start with a container. Boom. And then ideally you would start with a row here. And then you would have, columns that are expanded. So we have 4 elements here, I think. And what we'll do is we'll set some padding on these, and then we'll expand these guys. And we'll make sure that they are centered in the middle. And then we'll add in an icon and some text, or I'll do a container. We don't need text here. So what we'll do is we'll do a little container that shows primary when it is selected. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. And I need to get the full icon. So calendar, people. Right. Cool. My web publish. Ooh, that's a good question. Good question. So let's go ahead and answer that, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do this whole thing let me do a parameter first. If then else, so selected nav. Okay. Selected nav, integer. Boom. All right. So Toby, you want to know how you can get a web link to your mobile app without web publishing. Interesting. So redirect users to the mobile app after making a payment online. So what you would do is you'd be using some sort of deep linking. You'd be using some sort of deep linking technology in retro, right? Like before, you could do a deep linking in Firebase. Firebase is no longer is is removing that ability for deep links. And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to do some sort of custom format for that. Now, in your FlutterFlow project, there is a routing scheme. So they could, I think you can implement it, and this is not my specialty, man. I'm sorry. I apologize. Um, but we have to do this for a couple projects. And from my understanding, you can use that routing scheme as a URL, and you can send users to your, you can deep link them into your app somehow. FlutterFlow is working on a solution to help with this because Firebase, like removing dynamic links, was like a huge hit, and it's such an important thing for mobile applications. So they are working on implementing some sort of fix. Maybe they'll announce something at FFDC, but beyond that, you're going to have to use some custom code in order to get page links. Just so you know. So that'll be a thing you're going to have to do yourself. You're going to have to add some sort of custom code, and I don't really have the custom code present to actually hand off to you or to help you on that. Success Tate, yes, I can make it clonable. I'm trying to get something on the marketplace because it just makes more sense. But yes, I will try. I'll try to. Okay, I'll try to just get one photo, boom, and share a link on here. So thank you all for joining. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Next week we'll probably dive into something totally different because our boot camp signees they're working on a capstone project. The capstone project is super fun, and I'll probably go over a bunch of stuff. I'll utilize this hour to go over some education pieces for them. We're working on a really fun project because I have a meeting. I'll basically make it a 2-hour session. I have a meeting right after this for them as well. So hope you guys have a great rest.